He learned to notice what others overlooked. Lies in the pause before a reply, irritation in the way hands moved before a single word was spoken. This wasn't a gift. It was survival. He learned early that being unnoticed made life easier, not because he was unloved, not because anyone asked him to disappear, but because silence reduced friction. When he spoke more softly than he wanted to, when he stepped back instead of forward, the world seemed calmer. Rooms felt more stable. Conversations ended without tension. There was no strategy behind it, just a quiet conclusion. A child arrived at on his own. Things worked better when he didn't disturb the balance. As a child, he observed more than he participated. He sat slightly apart, not excluded, just unassertive. While others interrupted or filled space with noise, he waited. Waiting rarely came with consequences. At family gatherings, he noticed how adults spoke differently, depending on who was listening, how voices softened around some people and sharpened around others, how laughter sometimes arrived a second too late, as if added out of obligation. When conversations grew tense, he stayed quiet. And because he stayed quiet, no one turned toward him with questions. That felt safe. He learned to read moods through small details. The pause before a reply, the way hands moved. When someone was irritated, the sound of a door closing, just a little harder than necessary. This wasn't a gift, it was a survival skill. At home, silence wasn't punishment, it was space. After school, he often sat alone for long stretches of time, sometimes on the floor, sometimes near a window, not because he was sad, but because silence untangled his thoughts. Noise demanded reaction. Silence allowed processing. He replayed conversations that never happened. Arguments he imagined finishing. Explanations he rehearsed, but never delivered. He wasn't fantasizing about being heard. He was rehearsing restraint. At school, he wasn't invisible, but he wasn't memorable either. Teachers described him as consistent. They never worried about him, never praised him loudly, never corrected him harshly. Consistency became a form of camouflage. Classmates called him calm. Some said mature. No one thought to ask what that calm cost him. Inside, he felt constant tension, like holding something fragile and fearing it might shatter if dropped. He learned to carry that feeling quietly, the same way others carried backpacks or notebooks. There were moments when he could have spoken up, small ones, ordinary ones, when something was unfair, when a joke hurt, more by tone than by content, when credit quietly shifted away from him toward someone louder. He noticed these moments instantly. He always did, and almost always he stayed silent, not out of fear of punishment, but fear of disruption. He believed silence allowed problems to dissolve on their own, that speaking would create ripples too large to manage. Sometimes it worked, sometimes nothing happened at all. But often, after these moments, something heavy remained. Not anger, not sadness, just unresolved pressure. During adolescence, the difference between him and others grew sharper. Some experimented loudly with opinions. With clothes, with rebellion, they tested limits openly. They failed publicly. He chose caution, while others spoke. Before thinking, he thought, until the moment passed. He told himself there was time. That urgency was unnecessary. These thoughts sounded reasonable. He trusted them. There was one moment that stayed longer than the others. He was accused of something he hadn't done, not publicly, not dramatically, just a few confident words spoken in passing, almost casually. He heard them clearly. He understood immediately. That silence would confirm the accusation. For a moment, he imagined speaking, calmly, factually, without emotion. Then the calculation returned. Speaking would prolong the moment. Silence would shorten it. So he chose silence. He believed truth would surface naturally. It didn't. Nothing catastrophic followed. No punishment. No confrontation. Life simply moved on, slightly altered. But something shifted. From that day on, he became even more careful. Less visible, more controlled. He learned that silence didn't just avoid conflict. It also allowed narratives to settle without him. That absence could be interpreted, not corrected. By the time school ended, he was known as dependable, someone always present, never leading, someone useful, steady, replaceable. He accepted this description without resistance. It fit. It felt earned. As identity, visibility, or safety, he chose safety. Without realizing, it was becoming habit. When people asked what he wanted to do next, he answered vaguely. When asked for opinions, he gave neutral ones. Not because he lacked preference, but because preference felt like exposure. He entered adulthood believing caution was temporary, that one day, when the moment truly mattered, he would step forward. That silence was a tool, not an identity. He didn't yet see that retreat had already shaped the way he walked, that restraint had trained his posture, that quiet choices, repeated long enough, stopped feeling like choices at all.